We've all been there, caught in the crossroads of life, standing under a proverbial street lamp, unsure whether to turn left, right, or start walking backward. When life's tricky decisions rear their heads, many of us instinctively reach out to others for advice. Unfortunately, not everyone is a lighthouse guiding you safely to shore. Some are more like warning signs to avoid entirely. Today, we'll dive into 10 types of people you should think twice or thrice before trusting with your precious life choices. The serial quitter. This person is like a career buffet, sampling everything and committing to nothing. One week, they're a yoga instructor, the next, they're selling handmade dog sweaters on Etsy. Their advice is usually laced with phrases like, "Don't waste your time," or "It's not worth the effort." While their stories might amuse you, their guidance is often rooted in their inability to persevere. Trusting them is like asking a paper boat for advice on navigating stormy seas. It'll fold at the first sign of pressure. If you're serious about your goals, stick to those who know how to stay the course, not abandon it midstream. The eternal optimist. Oh, you should totally quit your job and move to Bali. What could go wrong? Famous last words, courtesy of the eternal optimist. This individual sees the world through rose-colored glasses, and while positivity can be inspiring, blind enthusiasm can also lead you straight into a disaster zone. They're not intentionally misleading you, but they gloss over potential pitfalls, leaving you to stumble headfirst into them. The advice of an optimist can be helpful when you're down, but for major decisions, balance their cheerfulness with a healthy dose of practicality. The armchair expert. The walking Wikipedia. This person knows everything about everything from astrophysics to alpaca farming. Their favorite phrase? "Trust me, I read about this." Problem with the armchair expert is they lack actual experience. Sure, they've read all the books, but theoretical knowledge doesn't always translate to real-world wisdom. Taking their advice is like building a house on a foundation of Jell-O. It might look sturdy, but it won't hold up under pressure. Chronic overthinker. Asking this person for advice is like signing up for a TED Talk you didn't ask for. They'll meticulously dissect every possible outcome, from the highly probable to the wildly absurd. Thinking about starting a business? Be prepared for a 2-hour lecture on supply chain logistics, tax implications, and the ethical treatment of office plants. While their analysis can be impressive, it's also overwhelming. By the end, you'll either be too confused to act or so drained that you give up altogether. Decisions need clarity, not chaos, so tread carefully around overthinkers. The cynical contrarian. No matter what you're planning, this person is ready to rain on your parade. Want to create a startup? Most startups fail. Thinking of going back to school? Why bother? Degrees are overrated. Their negativity isn't based on your circumstances but their own pessimistic worldview. Cynical contrarians can sap your enthusiasm faster than a flat tire on a road trip. While it's important to consider potential risks, this person focuses exclusively on what could go wrong. Their advice is less about caution and more about convincing you not to try at all. The gossip enthusiast. When their sentences often start with, "I heard from so-and-so, you better run." This person is less interested in helping you and more interested in collecting juicy tidbits for their next conversation. Not only is their advice likely unreliable, but it also comes with the risk of your personal struggles becoming public knowledge. Do you really want your decision-making process to be the hot topic at their next brunch gathering? Probably not. Keep your confidences close and your gossips at arm's length. The one-up wonder. Every time you share a challenge, they have a story that's bigger, better, or more dramatic. Lost your job? They've been laid off 5 times and started their own business each time. Spoiler alert. It failed. Thinking of buying a house? They'll tell you about the time they bought a mansion with a leaking roof and a ghost. These folks are more interested in centering themselves than helping you. Their advice is often self-serving, aiming to showcase their questionable expertise rather than addressing your actual needs. The fearmonger. To this person, the world is a ticking time bomb. Every opportunity is a risk, and every decision is a gamble. Thinking about traveling abroad? What if you get sick? Considering an investment? It's probably a scam. Fearmongers thrive on worst-case scenarios, and while caution is sometimes necessary, their advice is rarely constructive. If you listen too closely, you might find yourself paralyzed by fear, missing out on life's possibilities. Perpetual pleaser. This person wants to make everyone happy, often at the expense of offering genuine guidance. They'll nod in agreement no matter what you say, tailoring their advice to what they think you want to hear. While it feels good to be validated, their lack of honesty does you no favors in the long run. You need someone willing to challenge you when necessary, not someone who plays yes-man to your whims. The nostalgia addict. Their advice is perpetually stuck in the good old days. Back when gas was cheap and email didn't exist, their approach might have been gold. Today? Not so much. Nostalgia addicts struggle to adapt to modern realities, offering outdated guidance that doesn't align with the world you're navigating. They mean well, but their advice is often a relic of a time long gone. A parting thought. The people you trust for guidance can shape your path more than you realize. Surround yourself with individuals who uplift you, challenge you constructively, and encourage you to think critically. And when you encounter someone from the list we've mentioned, thank them, nod, and then quietly do the opposite of what they suggest. Life's too short to follow bad advice, and too exciting to let the wrong voices steer your journey.